Arizona, it's a beautiful state. There's a lot of things to do here. But there's also a lot of things out there that want to mess your day up. And one of these things is the bark scorpion. Now, there are a lot of different scorpion breeds in Arizona, but it seems the bark scorpion is just everywhere, mostly because they hang around where humans are. So I've been living in Arizona for a while, and I finally bought a house in Phoenix. And one of the things I want to do when I bought the house is set up a workshop in the garage. Because a man needs a workshop in the garage. Now, whether you use it or not is immaterial. You need the workshop in the garage. So part of that is get on the Amazon and order myself a workbench from there. It comes nicely sealed up in a nice box ready to be assembled. Now, during this time, it is July in Phoenix, which means you've got about 10 minutes in the morning before the sun parks itself a mile above your head and starts microwaving everything. So the way to get around this, you get up at 5 a.m. so you can have a couple hours to do something either outside or in the garage and get your work done. So I've been setting up the workshop and doing a couple other things. I decided I'm going to do the table today. So I unseal the box, I open it up, find the directions. I start looking over the directions and I realize it is getting hot. And there's no way I'm going to finish this before I'm just absolutely miserable. So I put the directions back in, close the lid on the box, slide it over the side. I'm going to come back to this some other day. So a couple days later, I'm going to do the workbench, and I'm going to do it the first thing. So I get in there and open up the box and reach in. And on top of the box is a whole bunch of these little thin styrofoam pieces, as they do. So I reach in and grab a piece of styrofoam, and my fingers are on the far side and I can't see them. And when I first grab it, I feel a little nick. And I'm thinking I caught my finger on one of the table legs that are sitting right there. Don't think anything of it. So I keep bringing the styrofoam out to put into the garbage can. And a couple inches later, I feel another nick. And my brain's like, what? There's nothing for me to catch on here. And I move another, and then suddenly my brain goes, oh, wait, there's something there. And so I go to release it, but it's all too late. At that point, the scorpion stinger right into the side of the first digit on my ring finger. And it's dangling there. And I'm just like, you fucking bastard. And then it drops off and it goes up and I'm going to go after Chase. But in my brain, it says, because legends around here all say, you get bit by a bark scorpion, it's going to ruin your day. You better take care of it. So I stop and I look at my finger and I'm like, oh, well, it feels like a wasp sting. So right now, though, we're going to rewind the clock a little bit here, kind of give you what happened in real time to kind of catch it up, right? So it's grab the piece of styrofoam, nick, move a couple inches, nick, then, oh shit, pound, stab, stung, it goes away. Oh, that's not so, oh, fuck, oh, fuck. Yell so loud, all my neighbors within about a 3-block radius now know I like the word fuck. Each one of these times I say fuck, my finger is hurting worse and worse. And it's just this kind of burning electrical sensation going on there, and also feels like the finger is about to explode and have blood and gore all over my newly painted walls. And I can't have this. So I go running into the house because it's an attached garage, but I had to go outside, then into the front of my house, in there, and go to first aid. Now, what's the first rule of first aid? You got duct tape and you got ice. At this point, I don't think duct tapes can do it very well. So I get some ice, put it in the glass. I don't have a bag to put it in. Stick my finger in it, but add some water so I get some cold sensation around there and dive my finger into the middle of this. Now, at this point, also, it was just hurting here, but now the pain is starting to spread. It's starting to come up my finger. And I'm like, what the fuck voodoo is this going on? I've got to find out. What does any normal adult do? We go to the interwebs. So the first place I go is WebMD, put in my information, and it says, you got cancer. All right, great. WebMD's out. So I go to YouTube and I start searching what to do if you got stung by a bark scorpion. Whole bunch of videos come up. Some are even titled, "You got bit by a bark scorpion. What to do now?" I'm like, great, let's watch these. So I probably watched a total of 5 videos in total. And I'm just going to sum up all of them because they all basically are the same. It's like they copied each other and just shuffled the order. So the first one I'm watching, my finger's sitting in there. I'm looking in the glass. I go, yeah, it's still attached. Let's watch this video. And it goes, okay, so the bark scorpion is the most venomous scorpion in North America. I'm like, great, I knew that already. And then blah, blah, blah. Nobody has died from a bark scorpion sting since the 1960s. I'm like, okay, cool. The blah, blah, blah more. You're going to feel some pain, but if you have an allergic reaction, you're going to want to go seek medical attention as soon as possible. I'm like, okay, what's an allergic reaction? And then it continues to go on. Check my finger again. Yep, still attached. What is an allergic reaction? Is what I'm thinking. This is what I want to know. And it continues to go on. If you have an untreated allergic reaction, you will die. And I'm like, great. What's the allergic reaction? Because I need to know. Nothing. No information on that. But now I know what the history of the bark scorpion is, where they're found in terrain, and how they act and how they hunt at night, and that they glow green under a black light. This is all I get from the videos. So I'm sitting there thinking, as now the pain is all the way up my finger. It's slowly moving, which is weird. And I'm thinking, this has got to be some kind of allergic reaction. So I'm thinking, what do I do? What do I do? I go, well, the only thing I can do is go to the ER, because how humiliating would it be for me to be found on my floor in my own house dying from a scorpion? That would be so bad. So I'm starting to put my shoes on, gonna head down to the hospital, but I'm thinking, gosh, this is gonna be expensive. I'm gonna sit in the emergency room. They're gonna just be make me sit there and wait, and then I'm going to be, just all day, and all I'm going to do is feed my credit card. There we go. So then I have a thought: poison control. Of course, I know about those for snake bites. Never thought about it for a scorpion sting, but there it was, poison control. Let me call them. So call poison control, and in my best pilot voice, I'm like, yeah, hello, ma'am. I just got stung by a bark scorpion. It's my first time, and I'd like to know if I'm having an allergic reaction and about to die. Now, this very nice woman on the other end of the phone, she goes ahead, she takes my information down and asks me for my symptoms, which you, as dear listener, have already heard me say. I relayed that to her, but with a lot less fucks. And she goes then, okay, well, I've got some good news for you and some bad news for you. I'm like, great. So she goes, the good news is what you're experiencing is normal and is not an allergic reaction. I'm like, great. Wait, she said there's bad news though. She goes, but the bad news is it's gonna get worse for up to the next 6 hours. I'm like, what the fuck? And she says, some of the things you can do to alleviate that, because you can take both Advil and Tylenol at the same time, so you get kind of a double pain coverage. And what we're going to do too is we're going to call you every hour, check in, make sure none of the symptoms have turned into an allergic reaction later on. I'm like, all right, great. So I'm sitting there with my thing. Now we've talked about how it's gone here. Now I say my finger is numb, but it's not numb. It's just sort of numb with a dull pain inside now. But the tip of the finger still has a little burning left to it because it just doesn't want to go out now. But over the course of the next 3 hours, first my back of my hand turned like a tingly sensation. Then it went this dull pain, numb. It's really hard to explain, but that's what it is. Because you think it's numb, you don't feel anything. So it feels numb, but there's a pain going on. It's very, very weird. And it walks up kind of like a stripe along my arm, right? All the way up to my elbow, right to the funny bone. And that occurs over the next 3 hours, and at which point, when they had called up and it had stopped progressing, they're like, okay, that's it, we're done, you're good, but you may not get normal the symptoms may not go away for about the next week. And I'm like, the fuck? What the hell are these little devils, right? So rest of the day goes on. I kind of stabilize my arm somewhere. Eventually get to go to sleep. Wake up. At least all the arm discomfort and pain is gone. The back of my hand feels normal, but the whole ring finger is still completely numb at this point. But I'm feeling brave now. And not only feeling brave, I feel I need to go to war because the first shots have been fired. So where do you go when you need to have a domestic war? Home Depot. So off to Home Depot I go. I go inside the store, and there is this big display of all these yellow bottles along the wall, all with nicely labeled Scorpion Killer. I'm like, that's what I need. So they're about these gallon jugs with kind of little hoses you come out and squirt with. And then there's also this kind of aerosol can next to it, also called Scorpion Killer. So I take both of them, I read them, and I go, okay, one says it has to dry before effective, and the other one says it kills on contact. Which one do I get? Fuck it, both of them, right? But I need more before I leave this store. I go to the glove section, and I get those really thick leather gloves. You know, the kind that like cowboys use when they're using barbed wire? Yeah, those are the gloves I buy. And also go to the flashlight section, and I get a flashlight that has a black light capability because these fuckers glow green when you light them up with black light. Go home fully armed. Don't quite have my pith helmet on yet, but that may come later. I go in, I close all the blinds in my house, turn off all the lights, and I turn on this little flashlight, and I go looking in every corner, underneath everything, looking inside the house, making sure none of these fuckers are inside my house. That's clear for now. And I take this other bottle of the one, and I go outside and I start spraying around the windows and the doors, all the vents. I'm just making sure they're not getting into my house anymore. Then it comes time to go into the garage. Now I go into the garage, I still have the other stuff. I spray around the edges, I spray around the doors. All right, now it's time for the box, right? That lovely, lovely little box. But here, it's time to get ready, put on those thick gloves, and I switch over to the insta-kill stuff. So I reach down and I flick the box top open, and one little fucker starts running, and I just stomp on him. Done. Right? And I'm like, is he the only one? Let's still be careful about this. I look through the box. Yeah, there's one sitting on another piece of styrofoam in the corner. And it's a pretty big one. Right? But he's not moving because he's thinking he's hidden and he won't move, so I won't see him. No. So now this aerosol can Instant Kill, has one of those little straws coming out of it, kind of like a WD-40 can. I line it up, coat that little fucker, and I'm about to see him die. He doesn't die. He takes off running, skittering across and sort of up the box top that I now have open. I'm like, what the hell? So I look at the can, I start shaking it again, and I'm about to spray him with more because it didn't work the first time, must be more. Then I kind of notice he's starting to walk a little erratic. And then his little claws are waving around. They're normally like tucked in when they do this, right? They're kind of waving around like this. The next thing I see, his tail goes up, and then he just starts hitting randomly all around him in a circle. And I swear, sometimes he hit himself in the head. I don't even know. And he's doing this, and I'm just going, all right, I think this stuff worked. And sure enough, it did. So I feel vindicated. I feel like I got revenge because it had to be the fucker that stung me. He deserved it. But the story doesn't quite end there because I get outside. I go hunting at night with the black light, flashlight, looking for stuff on my house wall, looking for things anywhere. And I see stuff, I'm spraying them. I see a couple a night, on my fence. And for people not in Phoenix, all the fences here are like cinder blocks. They're just walls, right? So they're hanging out on the walls. I spray them. If they're in the vegetation, I leave them in the vegetation. I don't care. It's the ones that are on the house, right? I find a couple walking on the house, done. So I put them under control. And that's great. So, but it does take, and I do this for a while, right? But it did take a week for my finger to get back to normal. The main part of the finger was done, but the fingertip was numb for another week. It wasn't pain or anything. It was just numb. So I'm typing. It just don't feel anything. It's kind of weird. Won't um, curl up as much as I would want to. So kind of what's the moral of the story? Well, in Arizona, don't stick your fingers where you can't see. And if you do get stung by a bark scorpion, fuck the internet. They don't know anything. Call poison control and take care of that shit. Thank you.